Welcome to Living from the Inside Out with Holly Wade. Living from the Inside Out is about living fully, guided from your inside. Holly shares the wisdom of how your mind, body, and spirit are truly connected and that you deep down know your own answers. Holly and her guests will provide tips, practices, and inspirational stories to help you approach your life from your own heart. And here's Holly.
Hey everyone, welcome to Living from the Inside Out. I'm your host, Holly Wade with Holly Wade Wellness. New year, new you. We're going to be inundated with that messaging here really soon. And my question when I see those kinds of messages is, well, what's wrong with you? Let's talk about this for a moment. What if it's not about having a bikini body, a beach body, or even a 20-something body? What if it's really just about having a normal body and feeling really good in it? Like, what would that feel like? What would that look like? And when you consider all those workouts or the diets or the skincare products, when you consider all of those images, all of those things that you're about to be inundated with, what rises up in your body? Does it actually make you feel good? Or does it make you feel bad? I don't know about you, but it doesn't make me feel very good. See, think about this. The health and beauty industry is a multi-trillion-dollar industry. Does it really make you feel healthier? See, ironically, we're sicker and we're fatter. And yet it should be going the other way with all of these products that we have out there, with all of these things that we've been doing for years. So clearly it's a cycle that's not working. So before you knee-jerk reaction into buying the next promise for a better life and a better you, I want you to ask yourself some questions and be a smart consumer. Because we really need to understand our own behaviors and our own habits. Like, what is it that's making me buy that fitness DVD that I'm never going to use? Like, how many of those have you bought that are collecting dust? Or how many pieces of exercise equipment have you bought and now it's sitting in a corner somewhere and it's a great place to hang your clothes? Let's just be honest about these things. So here are some questions that I'd like you to ask yourself and reflect on before you make decisions about how you want to start your new year. Because if you really want to create a different habit, you have to do different. So if you've been in this cycle of buying DVDs, this is going to be the year you're going to lose weight. This is going to be the year that diet's going to work. This is going to be the year that I'm going to commit to my financial well-being. This is going to be the year that whatever the case may be. So let's understand ourselves so that we can do different and actually succeed rather than being in that 90% that never fulfills their New Year's resolution. So question number one, what is really wrong with me? Like, is there really anything wrong with me? The reason that we buy into these ads and promises is because they're really to convince us that there is something wrong with us, that somehow we're flawed or we're not right or we're not enough. Like, that is what it's preying on. There's a pain that they understand. There's something in psychology that they understand, that marketing understands. As I'm doing marketing, I know. But there's something that they understand. and they hit you right where it hurts. So that you go, ooh, all right, this quick fix is going to help me. It's addictive. Like, think about this. Like, somehow there are these images of these beautiful women on the beach, and then it makes you go, ooh, my boobs aren't big enough, or my waist isn't small enough, or ooh, my tummy's not flat enough, or my lips aren't plump enough. I need those thicker lashes to get the man of my dreams, to be able to wear a bikini, to whatever the case may be. But the truth is that who you are is enough. And all of those things just distract us from showing up in this world to do what we need to do. See, to me, that right there is sin. So we are not fulfilling our God-given gifts and talents in order to do what we're supposed to do. So when we're filled with shame, and we let ourselves be filled with shame so we don't show up in this world. So if you're trying to keep up with fitness and beauty trends, you're just going to keep exhausting yourself, because that game isn't set up for you to win. It's set up for them to win. It's another mask. And I'm not saying don't do things to enhance your beauty or to feel good. I'm not saying don't get that DVD if you think that you're going to feel good and it looks like fun and something you might actually do. What I'm saying is, if it's going to collect dust and you know that, is it really worth your money? So know your worth. What are you worth? And is your time, your energy, and your money worth that thing? That's the deeper question. So question number 2, what have you already tried that works for you and what hasn't? So you're going to hear me talk about those DVDs that collect dust a lot, or that equipment, because it's a great example. What happens after you make that purchase? Do you actually do it? Do you do it for a couple weeks and then it subsides? Do you stay on that diet and reach your goal? And then what happens? Is it something that you can continue? See, what has worked and what hasn't. That's really important to understand so that you don't repeat that same mistake, that same habit. So it's really important to understand what you've purchased in the past and why, so that you don't repeat that same behavior. Like I said earlier, all these things sounded like a good idea, right? Like maybe they even worked for you for a short time. But why did you stop? What is it that got in the way? Because that's a critical piece to understanding how you can succeed, is in understanding what caused you to fail. This is where I want you to dive in deep and understand why you didn't stick with it, or why you didn't even start. Again, your time, money, and energy are important. And so you need to understand those things in order to understand what's going to line up and help you be successful. So any program can be the best in the world, but if you're not excited to hit play or to actually get going on that piece of equipment, or if you're not excited about eating that food, it's not going to really do you a bit of good in the long run. It might be a short-term solution, but it's not a long-term one. And what you want is those long-term results, not those 30-day fixes, right? Question number 3, what actually motivates you? What motivates you? See, the reason only 8% of people actually see their New Year's resolutions through is that they choose things that are going to please others, or things that are based on someone else. So those images, That's what the world wants, right? The world wants me to be thin because that makes me beautiful. The world wants me to have big boobs or a big butt or thigh gap. And all those things keep changing. Have you noticed that? So inside of you, here's the trick. Inside of you, what scares you? What scares you the most? Is it that you're afraid that you're going to die young? Is it that you have family members who died young? That you have predispositions in your family to certain diseases? Are you afraid that you're not going to be there for your kids? See, those are the things to understand, because that's what's going to motivate you. That's going to be your reason, because it's a deep personal reason for showing up and doing those exercises, for showing up and changing your nutrition, for showing up and sucking back more money and saying no to your kids on certain things so that you can actually set back money for your own retirement. Or whatever the case may be, to create that change, that longer lasting change. You've got to understand, what is your reason for doing this? It's got to hit you in your gut so deep that you know, like, you can always come back to this. And when you're like, yeah, I do not want to get up to do that, it's going to make you get out of bed and show up. See, that has to be your driving force for making this a lifelong habit. It can't be the superficial, because that's not going to stick. Question number 4, is my expectation realistic and sustainable? So if your schedule's overflowing as it is, do you really think that you're going to wake up at 4 a.m. to do a workout that extra hour earlier? Are you going to be able to do that for a whole year? What about 5? Consider your life and your lifestyle as it is. Are you an on-the-go person? Does your job take you on the road? Do you have small children? So you need the flexibility and adaptability to work within those constraints of your life, to work with that rather than against it. Do you need to eliminate some things from your life in order to create room for this new lifestyle change? See, those are the things that you need to consider so that you can set yourself up for success. Because maybe with your lifestyle, doing 30 or 60-minute chunks at a time don't work, but maybe doing 10-minute bouts throughout the day does. Or maybe taking 30 minutes during your lunch hour does. Let's talk about realistic, because that's the sustainable part. Let's talk about the realistic part. Many of us set goals that are a little bit too lofty, and then we get frustrated when we don't achieve them. So, for example, if you haven't exercised in years, or maybe even months, maybe doing a 60-minute workout isn't quite where you're at. Maybe you need to build up to that. Maybe jumping right into CrossFit or P90X isn't for you. Maybe you need to consider something a little more gentle. Maybe you need to consider, do you need a hit it hard workout, or do you need something that's more mind-body based? It's important to understand how you can adapt. So within your life, within your lifestyle, can you take this workout on the road? Can you do this anywhere? Can you do this in a hotel room? Can you do this outside? What works for you? Like, a 40-something isn't supposed to look like a 20-something. Let's just be honest about that. That's another realistic thing. That's an overloading expectation. Let's work with where we are at this point in life and where we're headed so that we can feel good for the long haul. Rather than break our body down, we can build it up to be strong for what's ahead. And that might include an adjustment right now. Like maybe you have been a hit it hard person, and maybe it's time to tweak it for where your body is and where you are in your stage of life. Question number 5, how do you want to feel? Like, close your eyes. How do you actually want to feel? Do you want more energy? Do you want less stress? Do you want less tension and achiness? Do you want your body to feel mobile and fluid? Do you want to feel strong and confident? Once you've defined that, decide what it's going to take for you to achieve it. Is it yoga or Tai Chi? Is it eating less sugar so you don't get those energy crashes throughout the day? Would that eliminate some of that achiness and tension in your muscles? Do you need to drink more water? Would dancing be better for you than going to the gym? Because that would create some socialization and that would allow you to gain some body awareness and confidence. Take it from that angle rather than the outside in kind of angle that we usually do. Because there is no one size fits all program. We are all unique. We are all at unique places in our life. We are all unique in what we actually need and what inspires and motivates us. And that needs to be the driving force. That's the inside out living. And that's what I'd like you to consider. So when you've figured out what you want and how you can create something, you can incorporate that into your life for the long haul. See, for me, it's dance, it's walking, and it's yoga. That's it in terms of how I move my body. Those are the things that inspire me. Those are the things that feel good for my body. Those are the things that I can do long-term and anywhere. They don't have to be hour long. They can be 15 minutes if that's what I've got. And I don't do it every day, I'll be honest. I just want you to know that personally, I've done a lot of these things too in my life. I've done the cycle, the New Year's resolution. I've done the, like every workout on the planet. I've done the dieting. And for me, it was when I discovered the mind-body activities that my body started to create the shape that I wanted. That was when I became healthy and vibrant because that's what my body liked. That's what my body needed. That's what my soul needed. My soul needs dance. And there is an athlete in me. There was a time and a space for that in my life. That's not what fuels me anymore. I can do that on my yoga mat. I can grow, I can change, I can push myself, I can challenge myself on the yoga mat. But for a 40-something woman, it doesn't feel good in my body. And to think about going out and playing basketball just goes, ugh. Now for you, that might be different. But you've got to figure out what feels good for your body. See, in my 20s, my knees and low back were killing me. And it was from overuse. Like I said earlier, I was teaching kickboxing, I was teaching cycle, I was teaching those hit it hard kind of classes. I was teaching hip hop, and it was hardcore. And my body was hating me. It was telling me, it was giving me those signs. I was breaking it down in my 20s. Like I had zero mobility in my low back. It was when I discovered Pilates and actually started to strengthen my core, not just doing crunches. When I gained a different intelligence, and I was a fitness person. Like, let me explain that. I was a fitness person and I was doing the wrong things. I just didn't know it. But when I understood the muscles of my core more thoroughly, when I understood how to create that mobility in my spine, that was a game changer. in terms of diet for me personally, there have been times when I've been really restrictive because of my Crohn's disease. I've been afraid to eat certain things because I thought, oh, that's going to mess up my gut flora. And, I made it too complicated. How many of us do that? Honestly, my rule of thumb now is just eat food as often as possible. It's that simple. Rather than eating food-like products or processed stuff. It's just eat food. Eat good protein. Yes, I'm a carnivore. I admit it. Eat good fat. Eat fruits and vegetables. Load up with those different colors throughout my day. And I feel pretty darn good when I just follow that basic rule of thumb. And I understand, because I've tapped into my body, I understand when I need to feel good. I understand when there's inflammation in my body and how I need to adjust my nutrition to support my body and help through that. Stress has honestly been the bigger component. And often this is the one that when people figure out how to manage stress, everything else falls into place. Yoga, meditation, naps, saying no, journaling, those are all ways that you can get a handle on your stress. If that's you personally. Because remember that stress is creating inflammation in your body. That chronic inflammation is what creates chronic pain. So those are some examples in my personal life of how I've incorporated these questions to create a lifestyle where my body can feel good, where my life can feel good. So back to you. When you consider making a change for your health, just choose one thing to focus on. Because as you get that one thing down, then you can start to incorporate other things or not. But that one thing will probably create a domino effect in other ways. So what is that one critical piece that if you deal with that, if you work with that going into 2018, how can that create a ripple effect of change, of transformation in the rest of your life and create more ease and flow and help you to stay anchored so that when life happens, you're not thrown for a loop? This is why I work from the inside out. This is how we create real lasting results in our life, not through 30-day fixes, not through before and after pictures, not through another diet, not through another program. Because ultimately, there is nothing wrong with who you are. The world needs you. The world needs the best you to show up. And that's just when you're your youest you. Your messiest, most vulnerable you. So now how can we give you the energy and the focus and the motivation that you need to be successful and to show up giving this world what you are called to do? Because you know your body better than anybody, better than your doctor, better than your chiropractor, better than your significant other. You know what it feels like to be in your body better than anybody else. You know your life circumstances better than anybody else. So now you can work with that information to create those results rather than against it, rather than what someone else is telling you to do. Now, that doesn't mean that we don't need outside perspectives to give us some guidance, to help us see things that we're not seeing. At the end of the day, you're still the one who has to show up on a daily basis for yourself. So rather than feeding the cycle of the new year, new you, how about just starting with liking you, being kind to yourself, making these changes because you want to feel good, because you deserve that. And then see what happens. So just a little review of those 5 questions to ask yourself. Sorry for my notes. What's wrong with you? Nothing. So maybe ask yourself, what's right with you? What have you already tried that works? And what doesn't? What actually motivates you? What's that factor that's going to keep you going? Is your expectation realistic and sustainable? And how do you want to feel? See, that's what's going to help you enhance what's already there, what's already the greatness of you. So let's bring it out. Let's bring out the best you. Now, if there's a way that I can give you some information on how to move your body, on how to fuel your body to serve you through the day, on how to manage your stress, then send me an email. Let's get on a call and let's just talk through some of those strategies that might help you in your life with how your life is, because you're not like everybody else. And you shouldn't be treated as a packaged program. You need that individualization. So if there's a way that I can help you, let's get on a call. Just email holly@hollywadewellness.com or find me on Facebook and we'll make that happen. Because it's not about a beach body. It's not about a perfect body. It's not about a bikini body. It's about having a real, normal, functional body that feels good. Because when your body feels blissed, your life is blessed. Thanks for joining me today on Living from the Inside Out. I am Holly Wade, your host with Holly Wade Wellness, and I'll see you again next week.
Thank you for joining us at Living from the Inside Out. Listen every Tuesday at 6 p.m. Eastern. To connect with Holly, just go to www.globalvoiceradio.com. Global Voice Radio is where your voice and your message is heard.